Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you right now is something you need to see in relation to the presidential election, because you are flat out getting manipulated. You are getting propagandized. You are being lied to en masse in order for a predetermined outcome by the opponents of freedom. You guys know one of my mass issues and pet peeves is when people lie to you in order to try to steal your rights from you. Make you think of a different reality when it's fictitious in the baseline of understanding. This is so crucial to understand because the election that we're going down is a guaranteed gun controller versus a, well, this should be fun, we'll see what happens. You got a guarantee, you got a big question. But what I'm about to show you right now is the lies that they are propagating to you, and even CNN cannot cover up this long. Everything that I'm about to show you is linked right down there in the description box. Please, if you're enjoying this content, please send it out, share it out to everybody so the veil can be lifted for them as well. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. And with that said, let me introduce you to the content that we are about to discuss. This is a CNN clip. And usually, guys, CNN has more red flags than, like, New York. Hey, speaking of red flags, have you guys checked out USCCA yet? Because if you put an imaginary situation like in New York or California or Illinois, or you're a rightful legal gun owner and someone calls on you and snitches to the government, and then they get a court order without you knowing about it, you can't face your accuser, and then your due process is thrown right out the window. But don't worry, you have 12 to 18 months to appeal it and prove yourself innocent after you've been assumed guilty. Why do that when you can avoid the entire thing through USCCA's new membership? They have red flag law coverage. It's just been added in. This is something that I truly believe in because it is permeating all the blue bastions. Just check it out. The least you can do is know your options. It's right down there, and thank you for that consideration. All right, people. Listen, I got to get into this. Harry Enton, I actually like his content. I don't like seeing it a whole lot because it's obvious propaganda. But what Harry Enton's about to say is like, hey, Democrats, Kamala fans, K-Hive as they like to call themselves, don't pop the champagne just yet because there's some things we need to show you. And again, understand the reason we're covering this is because it's easier to fight the gun control in 1 year right now, in like an election, than 4 years of holy crap, man, all the hatches. Okay? So anyway, let me show you this. Harry Enton, 3 caution points for Democrats. Now again, this is from CNN. I didn't do it. CNN. 1, Trump wins if the difference between the polls at this point and the result matches what we saw in 2016 or 2020, so 2 reference points. 2, Trump's more popular now than he is at this point in 2016 or 2020. And 3, Dems don't say they're more likely to vote now than in May. All right, I'm going to walk you through this. I'm going to take you into this clip, and I'm going to pause it right in the middle because there's a few points I really want to drive home, but you have to understand this is how they're lying to you. This is how they're propagandizing you, and this is much more related to reality. Check this out. I'm going to start playing this bad boy, and let's get it.
I want to take a step back and sort of point out we've kind of been here before. So August 13th, how far were the polls off in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin? And this is in 2016 and 2020. Trump was estimated both times around and by significant margins. Take a look here. In 2016, the average poll in those states that I mentioned, those Great Lake battleground states, Trump was underestimated by 9 points on average at this point in 2016. How about 2020? It wasn't a one-off. Look at this. He was underestimated by 5 points on average. And of course, Kamala Harris's advantage in those New York Times Siena College polls were 4 points in each of these key battleground states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. The bottom line is this. If you have any idea, if you're a Kamala Harris fan and you want to rip open the champagne bottle, pop that cork, do not do it. Donald Trump is very much in this race. If we have a polling shift like we've seen in prior years from now until the final result, Donald Trump would actually win. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I am saying that he is very much in this ball game based upon where he is right now and compare that to where he was in prior years.
Okay, well, I'm going to hit a few things here really important. First of all, if you didn't catch it, rewind that part of the clip that I just showed you and watch the anchor on the left, get her face, look at the camera and like alert and like alarm. It's worth it because she makes total tells. Anyway, there's a few things that we have to talk about here. 1, Trump is more popular than he was ever before. He has been underestimated by polling in both 2016 and 2020. We know that. That's a known thing. And I'm going to scroll down here in a second and show you some norms to compare where the other Democrat contenders were to give you more information around this. If you look at what we're looking at right now, and even he let it out. He kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit. After Labor Day, the polls always go towards the middle. Every single time. It is a known standard. They always go after Labor Day into the actual closer realities. What he's referencing is the closer realities. He's telling the Democrats, you may not want to pop the cork yet. And if you've been on Twitter yet, there are corks popping all over the place. They may as well just say she's going to win all 50 states. Because, good Lord, the propaganda is thick up in here. Now, oh, forgot one more thing before I hit this again. When I cover these things, this does not mean any predetermined outcome is going to happen. It means you've got to vote. You got to get 10 of your friends to vote, 20 of your friends to vote. You got your whole family to vote. Everyone's got to vote. You have to vote. Sorry, knock, knock. Who's there? You got to vote. That's important. The stuff that I do like this is to give you a perspective. It is not to tell you we don't need to vote. Just, I got to get that out there. Anyway, let me keep going. I want to show you something else here. Again, remember, underestimated in 2016 by 9 points. Underestimated in 2020 by 5 points. And he even said the Siena polling that he was referencing is Harris up by 4. Keep that in mind, all right?
The Harris campaign saying we have to keep fighting.
Absolutely.
This is definitely not over. All right. Let's talk about enthusiasm and how that translates actually. We are quite a ways out again, 3 months about.
Yeah, yesterday I was mentioning, the enthusiasm for the Democratic ticket was up.
Yeah.
But that enthusiasm is not the same thing as going out to actually vote. And there's a different question, which essentially says, how certain are you actually going to go out and vote? And this is the top range. Almost certain to vote. Again, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. This is among registered voters. Look at this. Look at Kamala Harris now compared to where Joe Biden was back in May. In fact, 62% of Joe Biden voters said they were almost certain to turn out and vote. Now, it's actually gone down a little bit. I would call this in the same general area at 61%, but it's basically unchanged. And look at Donald Trump. He was at 58% in May. He's actually gone up a little bit now. He's at 60% now. Again, basically no real change. So the bottom line here is, yes, there may be more enthusiasm for Kamala Harris, but the fact is we're not seeing that necessarily translate in the almost certain vote. And one little other note, Sarah, I will note this. Donald Trump is more popular today than he was on August 13th in either 2020 or 2016. So the bottom line is, yes, Kamala Harris is doing better in the polls, but there's a long way to go. The polls can shift. The almost certain to vote hasn't actually shifted, and Donald Trump is more popular than he was at either 2016 or 2020 at this point.
These are interesting data.
Okay, so I'm still going to scroll down and show you something really important, so stay with me. Understand what he just said. You remember way back in yesteryear, like last month, 2 months ago, when the big concern from the Democrats was that there was going to be no vote increase, like the youth vote and all the voter turnout was going to be extremely low? Remember all that? It hasn't changed. From Biden to Kamala, the people who are going to go vote hasn't changed. You've seen an enthusiasm for the general electorate increase, and you've gotten the Democrats back in where they normally are. Again, I'm going to show you something in a second. He's even saying Trump was underestimated in 2016, then he was underestimated in 2020, and oh, by the way, in 2024, he is 3 points higher, coming from 33% when he was 9% underestimated. I'm not telling you he's going to win. I'm not telling you he's going to lose. I'm not telling you any outcomes. But what I am telling you, the propaganda and the polls and all the media and all the Twitter personalities, they are meant to dissuade you from getting out and voting. They are meant to discourage you away from taking part in a right. You take part. You get everyone you know. Let the chips fall where they may. But if we lose this bad boy, it sure as hell's not going to be because we didn't go. It's because we lost it. That's the way this is going to roll. I'm ready to grind. I hope you guys are too. But one more thing, and then I will wrap this because I don't want to look at those two. All right, here we go. This part is incredibly important, okay? This is from Real Clear Polling. So this is RCP, all right? 2024 general election morning consult. Harris 47, Trump 44. RCP average Harris 1.1 ahead. That is the key point, okay? 0.11, or 1.1 rather. Right below it, this day in history, look at where her predecessors were. In 2016, Clinton was up 6.8, same day. 5.7 less than Clinton. She lost, by the way. Biden was up 7.4, 6.3 more than Harris is right now. We know how that one turned out. But again, my point in telling you all this is not to say it's a lock in either direction. My point in telling you all this is they are lying to you. They are propagandizing you to discourage you from getting out and voting so they can get what they want by not even having you fight. And that ain't going to happen. I hope that this message landed. Let me know what you think in the comments field below. Make sure you send this out, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.